everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this beautiful baby blanket using Caron Big Cakes yarn. In this video I'm going to cover three things. I'm going to show you how you crochet this really pretty shell pattern itself. It's only a 1-row repeat, so super duper simple. I'm also going to show you how to straighten off the top edge for this pattern itself, so how to give it a nice clean top edge, and I'm also going to show you how we do the border. If you love all things crochet and are passionate about the craft, then you have definitely come to the right place. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my future crochet videos. So very quickly before we start, I just want to give you a tiny bit of information about this blanket on my table. Now, I used 2 balls of the Caron Big Cakes yarn in the colourway Jordan Almonds. I used a 5mm crochet hook for this, and in fairness, I probably could have taken this a bit bigger because look how much of that second yarn cake I have left over. I've easily got enough here for several more bands of colour. I've got 2 at least here, so I could have taken this blanket a bit bigger, but this is my first time working with the Big Cakes yarn and I wasn't entirely sure how far it was going to go, including the border, so I was a bit conservative, but you can probably take yours a little bit bigger. So all the information for the dimensions, sizing, the written pattern, all that jazz is over on my blog. I've linked to it in the description box below, so don't forget to show more. Click that button to say show more, which expands the box beneath this video where you'll find all the links down there. So I'm going to use this leftover to show on a tiny sample how I made this bigger blanket. As I said, I'm covering all 3 things: how to start, how to do this repeat pattern in the middle, how to square off the top edge, and how to do the border. So stay tuned for all 3 bits. All right, let's begin. So with your 5mm crochet hook and your Big Cake yarns, you're going to go ahead and just pop a slip knot on your hook. Now the pattern multiple for this stitch is 10 plus 1. So what that means is you're going to chain in multiples of 10 for as wide as you want your project to be, then add 1 more chain at the very end. Because I'm just doing a very small sample for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and chain 41. So that's my multiple of 10 plus 1. So that's my 41 chains for this small sample. So for the very first row, we're going to be working into the 4th chain from the hook. So this loop on your hook does not count as anything. You only want to count the full chains hanging from below. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this 4th one here is the one we're going to be working into. These skipped chains will count as your first double crochet stitch. And we're going to go ahead and put a double crochet into that 4th chain from your hook. So you've got 1 proper stitch, then you have these skip chains that act as a mock stitch. For this very first row, we are just going to place double crochet stitches in each chain all the way down. So working into each chain, double crochet all the way down to that slip knot. So I'm approaching my last stitch, which goes in this very last chain by your slip knot. And for row 1, you should have a row of double crochet stitches, and of course your skipped 3 chains right at the very beginning here. So for row 2, chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and turn your work. Now we're going to be working into this very first stitch here. So ignoring your chain 1, we're going to put our first stitch into the top of this double crochet here, and that is going to be a double crochet stitch. So just go ahead and pop a double crochet into that very first stitch and place a double crochet into the next. So we're going to skip a stitch and we're going to work quite a few stitches into the very next one over here. So into this stitch here, we're going to place 4 double crochet stitches all into that very same place. So all into this stitch here, I want 4 double crochet. Then chain 2 and place another double crochet into that exact same stitch. Now don't worry if your stitch starts to stretch a little bit. It's fine, you don't notice out the other side. Now we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work a double crochet into the next 5. So skip 3, double crochet into the next 5 stitches. Skip 1 stitch and into the next, work 4 double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet, all into that very same stitch. So that's 4 double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet. Skip 3 stitches and work a double crochet into the next 5. So skip, 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 5 double crochet. So I'll show you one more time this little repeat section, and this is what you would do down the full length of your blanket. Skip a stitch, so skip 1 and into the next, work 4 double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet stitch. So you're creating these sort of little shells, then skip 3 stitches and place a double crochet in the next 5. So you repeat this little section here for the full width of your blanket. Then when you reach your last sort of set of stitches, to end, skip 1, place your shell of 4 double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet into that next stitch. Skip 3 stitches and end with a double crochet in the top of your last double crochet of the row and a double crochet into your chain 3. These 3 chains you skipped right at the very beginning, you're going to pop a double crochet in there. Now, if you can't find the top of your chain 3, don't worry too much, just sort of aim for the top-ish in line with your second to last stitch there. So just working into the top of the chain, just shove your hook in and finish with a double crochet. So you started the row with 2 double crochet stitches. You did your skip 1, shell, skip 3, 5 double crochet, repeat all the way down, and then you end with 2 double crochet. Now row 3 is the pattern repeat row. This row we're going to do next is the row that you will do right up until the end of your blanket when you are ready to square it off, because as you can see it has this sort of ridged top, which isn't great for when you want to have a nice rectangular or square blanket. So for the row 3, chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and turn your work. Start with a double crochet in that very first stitch where you just chained from, and place a double crochet into the top of the next double crochet stitch. Now we're going to work into this chain 2 space of your shell from the row below. So ignore this hole here. We're working into this one here, not there, here. And into this chain 2 space, you're going to work a shell, which is 4 double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, all into that chain 2 space. So just like you were in the row below, but working into the chain 2 space this time. So it gets an awful lot quicker and easier from this point on. So that's my 4 double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more double crochet goes into that chain 2 space. Now find your 5 double crochet from the row below. Here they are, either side of the shell, and work a double crochet into the top of each of those double crochet stitches. So skip this shell entirely and leap straight in, ignore all those stitches, leap straight into a double crochet over here in the tops of your double crochet stitches. So you want 5 double crochet into the top of the 5 double crochet from the row below. Now for the rest of the row, until you get to the very last shell over here, you're going to put into the chain 2 space 4 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet. Then skip that shell from the row below and work a double crochet into each of the 5 double crochets from that row below. If you pull your work in front of you, you can very clearly see these straight columns with the shells either side. So double crochet into the top of all 5 of those stitches from the row below. And keep doing that down your row. In your chain 2 space of the shell, put a new shell, which is 4 double crochet, chain 2, for 1 double crochet into this part here, and then put 1 double crochet in each of the 5 double crochets from the row below. Shell in the chain 2 space, 5 double crochet. Keep doing that all the way down until you reach the very last shell of your row. So when you reach the very end and you're at your last shell here, into that chain 2 space, pop a little shell section of 4 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet. You fed up of me saying that yet? I should have just called them shells from the get-go, shouldn't I? And to end the row, skip your little shell section and end with a double crochet in the last 2 stitches. Now this first one is very easy to spot, the column of that double crochet. This very last stitch will be sort of tucked back here. Cat hair is optional in your yarn, but it's sort of tucked back here. So if you roll your work back, you'll see it there. So you can pop your last double crochet to the top of that stitch. So for every row, you're going to start and end with 2 double crochet, and then you do your shell sections in the chain 2 space and 5 double crochet in between them. Shell, 5 double crochet, shell, 5 double crochet. Keep repeating that last row until you have it to the width, to the length, not the width, the length that you want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and crochet up just a couple more rows. Then I'm going to show you how you can straighten off this top edge ready for a border. So meet me back here in just a moment. So for my very last stitch of the row, apologies, Steve has come to join us. For the very last stitch of my row, I'm actually going to change colour so that you have more contrast to see what I'm doing when we straighten off. So I'm actually going to switch out and start using the next colour of the cake just to provide contrast for you. You obviously do not need to do this at all, but I just wanted to quickly explain that before I shoo Steve off the table, so that in case you were wondering why my cake suddenly changed to this darker blue, it's purely for a bit of contrast for you. So I'm just going to quickly knot these ends together, pretend that like this didn't even happen. You haven't seen this. It's just a normal stitch. Okay, so when you have the desired length of the blanket, you'll notice you've got these sort of scalloped top edging. So I'm just going to show you the next row, which will straighten it off to give you a good base for any border. And then we can move on and I can show you the border that I did on my blanket. So you reach the end of your final shell row. You're going to chain 1, again, does not count as a stitch, and turn. So we're going to start with a double crochet in this very first stitch, just as you have been doing, and a double crochet into the next stitch. Now, pop a half double crochet into this stitch of your shell, your 1 stitch of the shell. So half double crochet into that very next stitch. We're going to skip the chain 2 entirely. Now you'll notice this on this sample piece because obviously I changed colour for a bit of contrast. You do not notice in the finished blanket if you were using your cake properly and I was still doing pale blue. So skip that chain 2 and in the next 2 stitches, so working into the stitches of your shell, place a single crochet. So that's 1 single crochet and single crochet into the next. half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. It's still working into the top of the shell itself. And then 5 double crochet in your 5 double crochet as normal. I'll show you again, and you're going to work this little repeat section over the shell and the next 5 stitches all the way until you reach the very last shell of your row. So half double crochet into this 1 stitch here, skip your chain 2, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, half double crochet in the next 2, five double crochet in the 5 double crochet from the row below. So repeat this all the way down, and I'll meet you at the very last shell of your row. So when you reach your very last shell, work over the shell as we have been doing. So half double crochet, skip the chain 2, single crochet, half double, and then we're going to end with a double crochet into the last 2 stitches. So the top of your blanket should now be straight to match the bottom. So it's perfect at this point to add the border. Now, if you want to add your own border at this point, you're free to carry on, either chain 1, fasten off this yarn and start your new border however you're going to start it. Or if you'd like to do the border that I have done on my blanket, don't cut your yarn. We carry on from this point. Okay, so if you are still with me, that means you want to do the border that I did on my blanket. So thanks for staying and for doing my border. All right, so you have finished off, you've squared off, you're ready to go. So chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and turn your work. We're going to be working in half double crochets for the next few rounds. So we're going to put a half double crochet into this very first stitch of the row. Then half double crochet in every stitch all the way across the top, but meet me back before that very last stitch. So do a half double in every stitch, but stop before you get to your last stitch. So I have just done half double crochet stitches all the way across the top, and I have one more stitch of the row to go. Now in this stitch, place half double crochet, chain 2, and another half double crochet to form a corner. Now we're going to be working down the sides of the blanket. So we're going to place a half double crochet around that stitch that you just worked into the top of. Just pop a half double in the side of that stitch as well. So you have 2 on the sort of return round. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you can see very clearly where I went in. Then we're going to work 2 half double crochet stitches into each row down the side. That's 1, that's 2. I'm just going to crochet over these tails as I go. And again, this row here, 2 half double crochet stitches. So you're just crocheting evenly down the side, 2 half double crochet stitches into the side of each of your rows. Once you reach the bottom, you'll come to that chain 3 right from the very first row, those skipped chains. Work 1 half double around the chain itself. Oops. Try and keep it on the hook. Then into the base of that chain, or the top as you're looking at it, into that very top section, place a half double crochet, chain 2, and another half double crochet, all into that same stitch. So you've turned the corner. Then work a half double crochet into this chain all the way along, and again meet me over here. I'll probably speed up this bit of footage or cut it out purely so you don't have to sit for the next 5 minutes watching me do half double crochet stitches, but it's just 1 in each of those chains all the way along the bottom. Once you reach the last stitch of this bottom edge, right by this slip knot, in there you're going to place a half double crochet, chain 2, and another half double crochet to turn the corner. Then pop a half double crochet around that stitch. So it's all that first row to match this side over here. Then working evenly up the sides, just as you did before, 2 half double crochets around the post of each row as you work your way up, post stitch, however you want to describe it. Once you reach this very top row, this is your initial leveling off row, work 1 half double crochet around the side of the stitch and into the very first stitch where you did your first chain 1 and a half double crochet, back into that stitch there, half double crochet, chain 2, then slip stitch to the top of that half double crochet stitch. Then congratulate yourself, because that was the most irritating round of all, and it gets much easier from this point on. So this is how you should be looking by the end of that first row. It gets much more simple from this point on. So for row 2, chain 1 and pop a half double crochet into that same stitch. Then half double crochet in every stitch all the way along the top. When you reach your chain 2 of the corner from the row below, into this chain 2 space, you're going to work 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more half double crochets all into that chain 2 space. Then work into every half double crochet all the way down the side. Just pop a half double crochet in each stitch. So you're going to do this all the way around your blanket, half double crochet in each stitch from the row below, and in these chain 2 spaces you're going to put 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochet stitches. Keep going all the way around and I will meet you over here near our original corner to show you how to finish the end of this row. So I'm just finishing up my last corner here. I've been all the way around the blanket. And to finish the row, so you should have neat half doubles all the way around, we're just going to slip stitch to that very first half double crochet of the row. Now row 3 is a repeat of what you've just done. So chain 1 does not count, pop a half double crochet into every stitch all the way around the blanket, and in the chain 2 spaces you're going to put 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. So go around again, repeating that very last row you just did, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment for the very final row of the round. Row of the round, row of the blanket, row of the border. I'll get there in a minute. Meet you back here in just a moment. That's my final corner. And to finish the round, slip stitch to the top of your very first half double crochet. Now, my yarn has rather conveniently actually changed colour, which means I can show you the final round, change just down here, nice and clearly. So you should now have quite a weighty blanket. This Big Cakes blanket yarn does a really good job of pulling everything into shape because it's quite hefty yarn. So you can see it wasn't looking brilliant to begin with, but now we've got these nice sharp edges going on. It's a good yarn for doing all-in-one sort of, I haven't blocked this. This is literally as I'm crocheting it. So I was really pleased with how this yarn worked up actually. All right, row 4, final round of the border. It's a single crochet round for this one. So chain 1, which as always does not count as a stitch, and pop a single crochet into that same place. Now a single crochet in every half double, so every stitch from the round below, just popping in single crochets. Apologies for all the cat hair. Steve keeps coming to join me today on the table. I think it's nice and warm for her under the lights, but it does make it quite irritating that she keeps leaving muddy paw prints and cat hair everywhere. So single crochet all the way along the top row, and I will meet you by this corner in just a second. Alrighty, so that's my final single crochet of the top row. Now the only thing that's different for this round is into this chain corner space, you're going to place 3 single crochet stitches. No chains, just 3 single crochet. And that's how you're going to do the corners. So keep going all the way around for this final round, single crochet in every stitch along the top, sides and bottom, and in the chain 2 corner spaces 3 single crochet stitches. And I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So once you've done your single crochet all the way around your blanket, you're going to slip stitch to join to that very first single crochet that you did, chain 1, snip your yarn, leaving a decent tail to weave in afterwards, pull that through, pull it tight, grab your large eye needle, weave that end in, and go and celebrate that you have just finished a Big Cakes blanket. So as you can see, the border when working around the blanket itself almost self stripes. It's really nice how the color changes and looks a lot prettier than this small sample where it just sort of block changed at one point and it didn't look quite as good. On the overall blanket itself, it gives this really lovely stripy sort of finish to your blanket. Talking and finishing, that is this video also finished. If you made it this far, well done. I'm impressed. And hopefully by now you also have a somewhat slightly larger than this little sample blanket made too. So if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to shout in the comments section below. I do love hearing from you. I love reading your comments. So definitely leave me a message. Steve. Sorry, Steve is just destroying the studio. So until next time, happy Caron Big Cake blanket making.